What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. We're here for the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode, episode number 6 today, for the French Grand Prix in Season 1. If you did miss out the Canadian Grand Prix last time out, I will leave a link to that in the top right hand corner of your screen. And France, it's a bit better on this year's game after time trialling for my practice, which is not the way to go. But as we look at the standings then, after the Canadian Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton now leads the way after his win out last in Canada, and Max Verstappen moves himself up to P2 after his second place finish, and Bottas is now up to third with his third place finish, as Lando Norris, who was second going into the Canadian Grand Prix weekend, is now down in fourth after his DNF. We also DNF'd, we're now still in P16, last of the point scorers, and Guanyu Zhou is in P20 or P19, I can't remember. And it's P21. Jeez. Development updates, we have a minor aero, a minor chassis, and a minor powertrain. As now, I'm going to put a vote on my Instagram story, so make sure you go follow me. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. Should I start saving the money up to maybe get a better teammate or re-sign Guanyu Zhou for the second half of the season, or should I spend the money and look for another F2 driver? But I will leave a link to my Instagram in the description, and that is where I'll put the story. I'll put the post on my story. And now as we head into practice for the French Grand Prix, as we got a cool camera shot there for the second one, we kept spinning. So we obviously didn't learn our lesson from Canada then, as we took a few wallops to the wall. No significant damage done, but we're going to take a new engine because, like I say, it is super worn out. I'm going to try and use them. I'm trying to use some of them for practice, but probably next time out in Austria we might have to take some penalties. Some good penalties. Let's get into quick practice just to do the last one on qualifying pace, because I couldn't quite get the purple score. So this is basically what I do if I don't get the practice programs done, like fully done. I'll just do it in quick practice to get the full points. So we move up to R&D, so we get 660 R&D points. Guanyu Zhou gets 200. We move our total up to 1,300, as we get quite a few good development discounts added. As we're going to try and do some upgrades. Now we have over 1,300 R&D points. So we're going to try and look for some maybe power and aero and chassis, and obviously durability. So we have to look at everything. Acclaim wise, we move up to level 5 on our driver acclaim. Guanyu Zhou stays at level 6, so we're now getting 22% combined acclaim bonus boost, as the team levels up to level 8 now. As now we move into the action now, move into qualifying here for the French Grand Prix, and try to be really fast here. As you can see, we are running the same helmet as Canada. As also you can see at the top of the halo there, we are running a new halo sticker. We're running the We Race as One rainbow on the halo, as the setup running 99 wings, 90% and 58, I think, on the transmission. The suspension geometry, no, I couldn't read that. Suspension 141637. Brakes obviously 156, and tyres 25 on the rears and 23.5 on the 25 on the front and 23.5 on the rears. As now we move on to the end of my first time lap here on track, and again I've moved some of the on-screen display stuff. I'm still trying to find the perfect place to place them as we get close there with the Mercedes there. As we just come to finish our lap, we set a 129.589, plus as P6 at the time, ahead of behind Schumacher and Raikkonen, and just ahead of Giovinazzi. And now we move on to the end of the lap. We're currently sat in P16, and I'm going to commentate this lap. So as we come through the final few corners, you want to try and straight line the exit as much as you can. So you want to show up to third gear, and then just ramp up the gears, open up DRS, and to the start-finish line to start the lap. We're going to get over to the right-hand side. Try place all your car over the first curb because it won't bump the car as much. You want to take a sixth gear, I find, which kind of helps with the traction. You want a bit wide there. We're not running strict corner cutting rules, so we get away without invalidating it. We're going to the chicane. You want to stay in third gear for last corner and that corner. And you want to charge up to fifth gear. Jeez, can't speak. For the penultimate corner, going on to the first bit on the Mistral straight. We're currently about half a tenth up as we now go down into the heavy braking point of this chicane. You want to try and avoid that curb and then get the car right over, as you want to keep it in fourth for the full chicane. Charge up to fifth, and now we are about 2 tenths up. And now we go down the second part of the Mistral straight into the fast right hander. We'll take up the bollard there. We'll get the car over to the left hand side. You want to go down to fifth gear here for I can't even remember the turns. So, but now as we go down into sector 3, we're going to take that fourth. You want to try to take a Y line and cut back in to get the power down as much as you can, and then you want to take as much curb there. You're going to go down into fifth gear for the penultimate corner. Go into the final corner. You want to take it third, preferably second, and then you're going to do double short shift up to fourth, up to fifth, keeping the car to the left hand side. We're currently about 3 tenths up. Currently sat in P18, but now we've improved on our time. And is that going to get us into Q2? It might, but if we do get into Q2, it'll be the second time we get through into Q2 this season. The first time was when it was in Monaco, where we actually got into Q3 and then crashed because it was tricky wet conditions. As Lewis Hamilton tops Q1, as we look down, and yes, we have gone into Q2 for the second time this season, as Granny Joe qualifies P19. We qualified P16 by about 0.08 of a second to Antonio Giovinazzi in the Alfa Romeo. So already we've got some extra points in the rivalry. Now we move into Q2 as we move into our first lap in the session, as we let Max Verstappen through. And now we're going to come through the start-finish straight to set up a lap. I set to the left-hand side just to get some slipstream off Max Verstappen. Didn't quite work. And then go through into turn 1. We took it 5th gear, that one. And you'll see why I like to take it 6th gear. Because we actually lost control of the car, spun it. We didn't really spin it. We did a side thing. So now at the end, I did another lap. So I turned the engine down and cooled the tyres off. Then went for another run straight after because we had enough fuel. As I come to the end of that lap, and we're 11 seconds up, so we set 1 minute 30.1. We stay P10 and last, as I didn't actually quite see how much we were down by Ocon. But now we move into the final lap of qualifying. We're on a fresh set of tyres, and Hamilton surprisingly is in P12, but that's because he didn't run on mediums, so that's probably going to change. But we're going to leave you with a full lap of Circuit Paul Ricard, so I will join you at the end of the lap. Enjoy it. So now, as we come down the main straight once again to complete our second lap in Q2, we cross the line, and all we now have to do is just wait for the confirmation if we're going to get into Q3. But we were only up by about, I don't know, we were up by about 2/10, I think I said. But we don't make it into Q3, but Bottas tops the timing sheet. Where are we starting? We're starting P16. We set a moment 29.688, which at least we're going to Q2 for the first time since Monaco. Rivalry we outqualified Giovinazzi. That's now 20-16, and for the team acclaim, not a lot have changed, but with all qualifying done, we know where we stand on the grid. Let's head into the French Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking two wheels today, we're talking four, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. The circuit Paul Ricard then, a 3.6-mile track, 25 miles east of Marseille. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, with the main overtaking chance expected going into turn 8. Top speeds today should be around 205 miles per hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Sergio Perez and Leclerc, Sainz, Tsunoda, Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Esteban Ocon and Raikkonen, Norris, Jackson, Mick Schumacher and Guan Yu Zhou, Mazepin, Latifi, Giovinazzi. They've taken a grid penalty, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Well then, so here we are on the grid then for the French Grand Prix. We're starting P16 with Lando Norris beside us. Strategy, simple one stop, medium to hard. I cut that bit out because I spent ages going through the strategy. But yeah, let's get into the end of the formation lap now, as we cut to that. As we're going to start on Raikkonen starting on the hards, with Norris obviously starting on the softs. After picking up a penalty, as you would have seen in the grid rundown by Crofty. But now we're going to move on to the race start. When I mean race start, I mean race start take one. You'll find out why if I've put it in. I think I probably have. But now let's go to 5 red lights for the French Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go. And on a medium tyres, we actually get a good start. We jump Raikkonen and Norris as they go down into turn 1 now. It's probably the best start I've ever got on this game. But now we go down into turn 1 and we make contact with Pierre Gasly. So right then, so back after there's maybe a flashback there, but back to the race start then. We're going to send it up around the outside then of us, cars, and we just make the width of the track there. I'm having to go a bit deep there, but as now we go down into turn 4, as Vettel's going to send one up the inside, as we're going to get the inside line for turn 5. As now we go down into turn 6, and we've squeezed Sebastian Vettel out there. As now Gasly and Vettel are going to go side by side now. As now we are the lead car on medium tyres going on to the Mistral straight in P10. As now we're going into the chicane, the middle part of the Mistral straight there. We're still taking up 4th gear there, but we're just going down the second part of the Mistral straight now, as we're just going to deploy as much EOS as we can just stay ahead of Sebastian Vettel. We've got the 1 second gap over him, and now we go down into the fast right-hander as now we go down into the long right-hander of turn 11, I think. Now we're down into turn 12, turn 13 and turn 14 to use as much as the curve as you can. As now we go down into turn 15 and turn 16. I probably got this all wrong compared to what it says on the thing in the intro before the race, as Ocon pits at the end of that one. So we're in P10 as Valtteri Bottas leads the way there.
You're in the top 10.
At the end of lap 1, as just got to focus now for the rest of the race. As we've spun. It's Nikita Mazepin time again. Well, because we did this in Canada last time out, it was lap 2, we tried sending it and we spun, went down to last, and we're doing it again, but we're not down to last because Ocon's in the pits. Now we look at the race start then, again from the off-board cameras, as it lights out where we go, and Bottas got a good start, as you can see us there, as in the whole gaggle of cars, as we're just going to try and look from the first, who was in first, but I might on some of them look at me, but because Bottas actually got such a far lead, you can't actually see much of what's going on behind, but that's alright. As now we're just gonna look at the as the cars all go down the Mistral straight again. Don't know why that guy's holding green flags, but I was going to see if I could try and find where and how Russell got his front wing damage, but it might have been from turn 1. We don't know yet, because he's as now we look from now we're targeting on me, as I think he actually picked up the damage at turn 1, because you can see by the delta there that he is losing time to Pierre Gasly. As I have to say, Codemasters done a good job on the camera angles for this game. They've been good for all the games, but this game for camera shots is kind of the best. As Ocon gets his front wing change there. As now we're going to look at, as now we cut back to me, and you can see me going tumbling down, and that's because we had a little spin there. As now we just looking at that, as we get that cool helicopter shot then of Esteban Ocon leaving the pit lane. And yeah, nothing much happened, but it's Valtteri Bottas who leads the way then on lap 2, going into sector 3, as it followed by Max Verstappen and Hamilton rounding out the top 3 at the moment, with followed by Leclerc, Ricciardo, Perez, Sainz, Stroll, Tsunoda and Vettel in P10. And then outside the top 10 at the moment on this early stage in the race, we've got Pierre Gasly, Lando Norris after picking up his penalty, Fernando Alonso, Raikkonen, Guan Yu Zhou, Mick Schumacher, Nikita Mazepin, Nicholas Latifi, Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi, myself and Esteban Ocon, who had to pit due to front wing damage on lap number 1. But now we move on to lap number 3 for the leaders, as now we're going to have a look at the race restart again from me. As we reacted to lights quite well on our medium tyres, and we got the gears quite quickly to stop the wheel spin. and we just deployed the ERS to about the end of the wall there on the right from the pit lane. As you could see there, I was now going to get the onboard of Kimi Raikkonen, who was in front of us. He actually started on the hard tyres, which is why we got such a great launch compared to him. As you can just see us fly by on the right hand side there. As now we look at Sebastian Vettel, because we went right around the outside of him. There we go. We kind of spooked him, but we didn't quite get good exit compared to him. He got the better traction down because we had to take a tight line there. As now we look back on lap 2 now of myself as we go to turn 1 and turn 2. I took it at 6th gear like always, but I just got on the power a bit too early and it unsettled the rear end, and we were facing backwards at the start of lap 2 yet again, just like in Canada, as I said before. But now we move on to lap number 5 now, and we are less than 2 seconds behind George Russell as we get the pop-up thing of the tyre wear is on 20% on the right, on the rear left tyre. We're already over 20% on fronts, so we should be alright if we don't pick up any damage, but you never know. But we've actually caught up about a second now we've actually caught up over a second on George Russell and Latifi. As now we're going to ask Jeff for the weather report.
15 minutes from now, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
As Jeff said, there should be raining 10 to 15 minutes. As Lewis Hamilton was going out the pits there, and we actually went side by side with him into turn 1. We got the better of that, but straight away on the back straight on lap 6, Hamilton's going to get by, and also Max Verstappen's going to get by. So we obviously don't have the straight line speed to compete with the like of the Mercedes and the Red Bull, as we get a little bit twitchy there coming out of the chicane on the Mistral straight. And now Daniel Ricciardo's going to try and look for a move somewhere as we come through 9 to sector 3 and the long right turn 11, and now we're going through turn 12 as Ricciardo's going to try go for it around the outside here, as we're just going to squeeze him out there. As Leclerc's going to get the best of it. We get a little bit loosey-goosey there on the curb there, and we've actually stuck within Hamilton's DRS train because they've actually dragged us up to the back of George Russell. So we're going to get DRS now, as we're also going to deploy the ERS, and there's Stroll coming out the pit lane there, as we're actually going to stay ahead of Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo for the time being, as Perez and Hamilton are going side by side during through turn 1 and turn 2. I'm getting my words out correctly at the right time. But the Williams of George Russell is actually slowing up Perez and Hamilton enough that we get a little bit of slide there, as Charles Leclerc's going to have a look up the inside of turn 7, going through turn 8. We get a big slide, and we've slightly tapped the wall there. And do we have any damage? We're going to have a look in a minute, in a second, and we do have a bit of damage on the right end plate, as we get a strategy change for a change of front wing, as now we're going to come into the pits, and if our day couldn't get any worse, we've now got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Now I was deciding to go for softs or hards, and I asked Jeff before I came in when the rain was coming. I think he said about 5-10 minutes. So I decided to pick the soft compound tyres we're going to go on to. I'm going to try to stretch these tyres to the rain, as we're getting our front wing change, and there goes Carlos Sainz, and now we are in last place. But the good thing is, because there's rain on the way, and we actually have to make another stop, as Jeff's saying there, we only have one more stop now. So we can actually serve our 5-second time penalty during that pit stop. As now we move on to lap number 9,
We think we
as we're
may
going to get
see
another
some
weather report.
rain. ETA is about 15 minutes. Dries seem like the
So
fastest tyre at
Jeff
the
is
moment.
saying that there's about 15 minutes until the rain comes, which would take us to about lap, I don't know, but going on to the end of lap 9, going on to lap 10, we're going to set a new personal best by about
The gap to the car
2.1
ahead is
seconds
3.9 seconds.
as but yeah, that should take us to about lap
Okay,
20,
keep taking
I think,
care of them.
until the rain, as we now move on to the end of lap 13 now, as Ocon and Latifi are in the pits, but they're going to come out still ahead of us, and
Box, we're coming in this lap.
they've got a pit window open and then to go onto the hard tyres, but I decided to
5 minutes
go
until
into the
rainfall
report,
expected. 5 minutes until rain. Dries seem like the
as
best tyre for
there's
now.
actually 5 minutes until Jeff says the rain will come, so that would take us to about lap 16, lap 17. And then move
We're
on to the end of lap
expecting some rain
14.
soon. Expect the first drops in the next few minutes.
As Jeff said, we're expecting some rain in the coming any minute, so expect the next few drops in a few minutes in the next few laps. As it's actually sunny, so I don't know what he meant. As Leclerc's in the pits, and we're going to overtake him there. So we're not last anymore in this race, but might not last for long. Now move on to the end of lap 15. As you can see, it's actually got quite overcast here,
By about 0.3 a lap.
as Jeff's saying that the car behind dropped by about 0.3, but he gained it all on the front straight. Anyway, but now we come through the first the turn 4 and 5, and turn 4, 5, 6 and 7, as now the raindrops are starting to fall. It's now starting to rain on lap 16, so all we have to do now is just wait until we get the call to come onto the intermediate tyres until the track is wet enough for intermediates, which it's a good thing we pit for softs, but then it's kind of not, because I could have gone to another set of mediums and made sure that the tyres lasted. As now we move on to the end of lap 16 onto lap 17.
Mindful of the conditions. The track is getting wetter. Recommend you stay out for now though. We'll be much slower if we move on to inters this early.
As we get the tyre indicator, and the front left is on about 60%, I think that was. So it's going to be quite close for comfort. As I think at this point, you can see me, I'm doing weird things with my wheel. I think I actually lost the force feedback. It's been doing it quite a few times with my Thrustmaster TMX wheel. It's been just losing force feedback now and then, but now I got it back. As now I'm going to look to try and get a move on Nicholas Latifi, but that's not going to happen because we've spun it again. As Sainz is in the pits, just coming out of the pits now, and we're now lighting up our rears again, as we're going to get back going again on lap 18, as the conditions are starting to get a bit worse, but it's not quite time to come in for intermediates yet. But now we move on to, I think it's the next lap. Yeah, we move to the end of the
I
lap.
know these conditions are tough, but bear with it. I don't think the track is ready for intermediates yet.
As we get a radio call from Jeff saying that it's not quite ready for intermediates yet, but it could be next time round. As now we go on to the end of lap 19, you can see the front left is on 77%.
Conditions
Where?
are going to keep deteriorating for 10 minutes at least.
As that basically means that it's going to get worse for the next 10 minutes. So now we go through turn 1 and turn 2. As now we got on the exit of turn 2, and we hit the curb, and we got puncture, we got front left puncture from our tyre wear, because on the F1 games, if the tyre wear gets above 75%, then you're at puncture territory. As we have to cut the corner there, we get a warning for corner cutting, but we can't slow the car down enough, especially in these conditions with a puncture. As now we go down the Multin straight, as I asked for the tyre status. As it says box, we have a puncture, which is you can see, as my radio actually cut a bit there, because I couldn't ask Jeff if I could to box this lap. I don't know why, but we couldn't slow down for the chicane, so we've had to cut that. So we've got another. So we're gonna get another corner cut in the morning. I can't remember what that said. And then we're on 2 warnings now, so we get another one, then we're going to get a penalty. So best not be doing any more corner cuts. But I see it's raining now, and I think it was a check your MFD finish strategy option. So obviously Jeff thinks it is time to come.
Pit, check your MFD for
Yeah,
a new
what
strategy
do you mean?
option.
God's sake, Jeff. As I'm getting a new thing, and he says mediums for some weird reason.
At least another 10 minutes until this rain evens out. Stay alert out there. We're not certain which is the best tyre right now, dries or inters.
I know he's saying that he's not sure if dries or inters, so Sonoda's gone in inters. And then we get another strategy option. And now he's saying intermediate, so why couldn't you just done that before, Jeff? That's it. But now we're going to come into the pits for the second time this race, and we're going to actually get it perfectly slowed down. We're going to serve our 5-second penalty, as well as now the leaders are coming in. So that's Sebastian Vettel there, who was actually leading the race, and the other, I think that's a Mercedes of either Lewis Hamilton or Valtteri Bottas. But again, the race pace isn't there, but yet the qualifying is, as DRS gets disabled as we're in the pit, as we just pull into the pit box there. And we've served our 5-second time penalty, so now that should disappear, which it has. Now we're on a fresh set of intermediate tyres. And we've got about 5 to 6 laps left. And our teammates in the pits, so they're already a lap round. I'm a lap down again, which isn't really much of a surprise, as Jeff confirms that Guan Yu Zhou is in the pits. But yeah. Also, I am recording the commentary on different days. So today I actually did some open lobbies with Spark 666. So if you don't know who he is a YouTuber as well, and he's actually my partner on Instagram, and he might be becoming a sponsor to the channel. So we'll be sponsoring each other's channel. As I don't know why Carlos Sainz there, he has not come into the pits. He stayed out on his medium tyres, as we're now getting lapped by an Alpine of Fernando Alonso there, as Latifi gets past Carlos Sainz there. And by the time we move on to lap number 23, we've got so we let Perez through, because we're now a lap down on Perez, as George Russell is out the race. He's retired with a mechanical failure, or a problem that's terminal, as both Ferraris are now in 20th and 21st, but now we're going to move on to the end of lap 25. And the AR are so stupid now, because I tried letting them through on the during the lap, and they just wouldn't go. Like, I have to slow right down, as we actually picked up a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. So if this race can go from bad to worse, then it has in this French Grand Prix. But we've got Austria next time out, as this is actually our final lap now, because we are a lap down, as again, like, they're not close enough for me to let them through. So I'm having to completely get off the throttle, because they're just not gaining enough. And so I'm actually having to completely lift to actually let them through, so I don't get a 5-second penalty. But like, you can just see, we're actually quite good in the wet conditions compared to the likes of Red Bull and Mercedes. But we're going to come through the final we're going in sector 3 through the final few corners now of this race, and just going to come through the final 3 corners now, as Sebastian Vettel wins the French Grand Prix in his green Mercedes. That's what I'm saying. In the Aston Martin, and we're going to come home for last again, a lap down. This career mode is just not being very good to us, because with the race pace so far, it's just not good, as Fernando Alonso picks up the driver of the day. GG's to him. GG's Sebastian Vettel for winning the race, and yeah.
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Paul Ricard. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
The Aston Martin team will be very happy with today's performance and the final result. Another display of excellent driving and excellent teamwork, and a well-deserved first-place finish. So, let's review the drivers' standings. That lead at the top of the table has shrunk somewhat today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Fernando Alonso, wherever he is, whatever team he's in, when is he not just brilliant? He'll give you a performance every time, just like he's done today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So then, the results are in for the French Grand Prix, and it was Sebastian Vettel who picked up a surprise win there for Aston Martin, showing that the two-stop is the way to go from mediums to whatever tyre he probably went on hards and then inters. With Bottas and Alonso rounding out the top 3. Missing out on the podium, we've got Perez, Hamilton, Verstappen, Stroll, Ricciardo, Gasly and Norris just missing out on ran off the points after Norris picked up his 10th place penalty for a component. Just missing out on the points, we've got Raikkonen, Tsunoda, Guanyu Zhou with his, I think it's highest finish of the season so far, followed by Ocon, Mazepin, Giovinazzi, Schumacher, Leclerc, Latifi, Sainz, and with myself, and then Russell rounding out and not making it to the flag. Championship wise, Hamilton leads the way, 13 points ahead of his teammate Valtteri Bottas. Him is up to P2 after overtaking Max Verstappen. Constructors wise, we stay in P9 and top 3 stay the same. Aston Martin move up to P4 after Vettel's surprising win here. They're 10 points ahead. As now we're going to move back into the laptop.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. I think it's great how much your team has been focused on developing your car.
Me too, Claire, but and to be honest, the car is great because Guanyu Zhou is actually showing the performance of the car, and it's great to see and it's great how much better our power unit has become.
How do you feel the competition is for you this season?
It's been great, and all the drivers are working to the best
Great.
this year.
Well, that's everything.
Let's now move into the rivalry, and we scored 2 points, and Giovinazzi scores 3 points in the rivalry. And so far, the rival breakdown is Giovinazzi leading 23 to 18. Acclaim, we don't move up now, and Guanyu Zhou is actually close to leveling up to level 7. Not much on the team though, claim stuff, but cash wise we get our goal bonus from Distort, damage deductions, we get the full 50k deductions, so we get 0. So it's just Granny Joe's 40k, as now we move total up to about 2 million, as now we're going to move back into the HQ, and we've got the aero upgrade that has come in, which is good. We'll put G-Force training on for Granny Joe before the Austrian Grand Prix, and we got a minor tyre wear, and I think it was a minor powertrain upgrade we had in development, as there's confirmation for the rear wing, so that's pretty good. And we've also got a chassis improved energy star cells which came through, and we've got some durability upgrades as well, so we've got some higher upgrade as well, so that's pretty good. So, and we can look through durability and powertrain, just see what we could do. And we've got 1,400 R&D points, so we might see if we can spend some of that, but I don't think we will yet. But we're going to look at facilities, and as I said before, this will probably be the last thing that we buy, because now we're going to start to save some money to either re-sign Granny Joe or pick another teammate. Again, I'll put the link to my Instagram in the description down below, where I'll be putting a story. I'll put a poll on my story. I'll also put it in as a post, so make sure you go like that. As we did a chassis upgrade, as I talked through that, I didn't see where it came, where it was coming from, 4 even, for the Grand Prix, and that's what we're going to buy. I think, so it was the monocoque structure, yeah, which is going to come on the 22nd of July, which I think is it will be before Hungary, before the Hungarian Grand Prix. So that's good. As you see, they've got low cash, so we're going to have to save some money up. So we're going to start that from now.
I know we were expecting some new developments to come through,
failed,
but some of them have failed quality control. But we'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
So we've got to repurchase that, as we actually made some inroads going into France. So that's now not going to come till the 9th of July, which is before the British Grand Prix. So, but yeah, that is going to wrap up all the admin stuff post-race before we head into the Austrian Grand Prix weekend. But if you have enjoyed this video, then make sure to give it a big like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're around here for new weekly Formula 1 content. But that's been me, O141 YT. No, O141. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Goodbye.